75 million total. It's pretty significant in this sector. So, like, any ideas as to why?
Why the 75 million?
Yeah, why so much? I guess, like, on the face of it, this is a pretty niche problem.
I'd push back on the premise that MEP is a niche problem. If you think about it, every building across the globe is made possible by these engineers, and the industry employs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of engineers across the globe. So it's kind of a big deal. And if you compare those 50 or 75 million to sort of the opportunity to transform how these engineers work, these 75 million is still kind of a peanut number.
Okay, Niklas. Well, I guess first and foremost, congratulations. This is a pretty significant round when it comes to the world of technology in the AEC space. So let me give the headlines here. Well, obviously, you're announcing the $50 million Series A now, but this is a part of a total fundraise now of $75 million in just 13 months. Yeah, $3 million pre-seed in 2025. In December 2025, you announced a $20 million seed round, and now this is June 2026, $50 million Series A. So pretty quick, even quicker for the AEC technology. Yeah, a16z led the round, and we've done some coverage of them recently. So, like, what was the draw there? Why did they come in rather than wait for like some later traction?
Thank you, first and foremost, for having me. So yeah, I start off with that we're building the purpose-built workspace for AP engineering organizations to use for their core work, and that's kind of a bold mission. And a16z is probably better to place the answer why they invested, but from our side, they're kind of the fund that's been involved in building multiple category leaders with similarly bold missions like Stripe, Airbnb, Harvey, Cursor, Figma, and so forth. And so why they didn't wait? Then you basically remove the venture from venture capital, and they want to see some signs. And what they saw in us is that we're growing really fast, as our 3 rounds of test, and that's something I think ACCC or any other fund looks for in a Series A. Meaning that the company is commercially interesting to customers, possible to deploy at scale. And to be frank, we had also the largest and most well-known Silicon Valley-based funds in the world competing to lead the round. So I think in the end of the day, it wasn't an option for them to wait. And they've been doing it's been sort of a longer thesis that they've done, doing a huge amount of research, doing a huge amount of interviews among the top engineering firms across the globe. And really building their understanding and thesis on the space, and also as a company and as a founding team, we're not to take credit, the full credit for this, but it's kind of strong founding team in Endra as well, and also our earliest team members, and so on. So I think there's a mix. But they are in the best position, I think, to answer why I shouldn't put words in their mouth.
Okay, follow up with them. Okay, so look, 75 million. This is a pretty significant round. Sorry, 50 million, 75 million total. It's pretty significant in this sector. So, like, any ideas as to why?
Why the 75 million?
Yeah, why so much? I guess, like, on the face of it, this is a pretty niche problem.
I'd push back on the premise that MEP is a niche problem. I think most would. If you think about it, every building across the globe is made possible by these engineers, and the industry employs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of engineers across the globe. So it's kind of a big deal. And if you compare those 50 or 75 million to sort of the opportunity to transform how these engineers work, these 75 million is still kind of a peanut number in relative to that. So it's a very hard problem. And at the end of the day, this is a very hard problem to solve. And also we are only working with large enterprises. So we need to, they want to know that we're around tomorrow after they've done their transformation that they're currently on. So I think there's a mix of us wanting to take really bold technology decisions. That's a very key component. We want to invest where we think is necessary, and to do so and hire the right talent to go do that it requires capital, and that's why.
Mm. Yeah, what is that like capital unlock versus like I guess we have seen some other companies maybe on the face of it going after a similar problem to you guys, but obviously not as well capitalized. So what is like the that capital that you've raised unlock for you?
There's a few things. As I said, we can bring on the best individuals in the world to build this foundational technology that we need to succeed. So we bring on PhDs from Princeton. We bring on people from Apple, Applied Intuition, iRide, you name it, and try to really attract the right talent to go do this. And working with exceptional people requires capital. Um, Also, it helps us move dramatically faster. We opened 3 offices in the last 45 days alone, and hire rapidly across. We have 3 engineering hubs. Those are in Stockholm, London, and New York.
Mhm.
And we can really start scaling the teams where we need to, invest a lot of it into R&D, and also make a commitment to our customers that we're sort of serious about this, and we're the player to rely on doing this.
Okay. And just one last question, maybe on before we dive into a little bit more about the product. You mentioned like A16Z and some promising growth metrics. Like, could you give some insight as to what these were? You obviously don't have to go to like the umpteenth detail, but just some info.
The sort of how fast we're growing, is that the
Yeah,
question?
like like from a metric perspective, what do they see from growth? That was like, oh yeah, we need to right check here.
Got it. Yeah. I'm not sure how much I can share. What I can share is that if we're looking at least, if let's look at the first month of this year to give you a perception of this. And the first month of January of this year, we signed something in the millions of ARR in January alone.
Hmm.
So that gives some guidance on where we are getting it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. Nice. Let's go. So, you picked MEP rather than like another design discipline which might exist within the world. I think so many people have gone under after architectural, for example. But why specifically MEP?
Yeah. Apart from that, I have a background. I started an integrator, design build integrator for building systems in 2014. Scaled that and sold it in 2022 to private equity. But in that journey, we had a design team. So we were always adjacent to MEP engineering, to MEP engineers. We were part of the E. You
Hmm.
could probably say that we were part of the E. And um, so it wasn't that I don't think the MEP design is particularly broken. I just think that there is like an incredible opportunity to transform how they work, like how MEP engineering firms actually get works done. And if you think about like adjacent industries, think about or similar in other industries, but similar logic. Like if you think about Stripe, they when they launched in 2011, online payments weren't broken. PayPal had been the dominant player for over a decade.
Mm.
So they didn't fix something that was broken. They what they did was that they built a new category alongside it, and both company are massive today, and that's kind of similar to what we are doing here. That we're introducing a new category of software for MEP engineering firms, and started with electrical for 2 reasons. It's one of the hardest disciplines to solve and has real measurable financial impact on our customers. And if you can solve sort of the hardest problem and tie it directly to the bottom line, you've kind of at least earned the right to expand from there. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like when you say expand, like, I guess you're talking to the M and the P, so the mechanical and the public side of it, public health side of things. But Could you even go further? Are you considering going further than just MEP?
We do not. So we're laser focused on MEP. As you said, that's a very big and hard problem to solve. And we're laser focused on solving that. So no, we're not going to structural. We're not going to architectural, or we're hyper focused around MEP, and want to work with MEP engineering organizations.
So no plans to replace Revit.
No plans to replace Revit. No. That's exactly right. I think that would be we integrate natively with Revit though. But we're not building a new Revit. We're building a workspace where MEP engineering firms are sort of set to work and do their work and collaborate with all stakeholders of a project. But we're not building a new Revit in any shape or form.
Very cool. Okay, so some of your customers include some of the top MEP consultancies, AtkinsRéalis, Buro Happold, Hoare Lea, Ramboll, AFRY, etc. And their business typically is billable hours, yeah. And your product captures those hours. Do they buy a solution like Endra because they have to or because they want to?
Um, So we partner with most tier one consultancies to help them with their AI transformation they're currently doing as a company, either Endra or like either with Endra or without. And so why is it the question is why they're engaging with us? Yeah. Um, and I have to be a little bit careful here what I say because it's a representative to what some of the largest consultancies on the planet have said to me under NDA.
I always say to people,
Um,
bricks and bytes is a place not worth losing
where
your
to
career
break
over.
those and violate them. Um, on a high level, I think, or I know that our customers partner with us because they want to be able to compete, offer new products to the market, store data and knowledge over time, and think that Endra is the partner where they need to make sure that they can deliver on their sort of overall AI strategy. And on a high level, that is sort of the core reasons why companies partner with us. And I think sort of, yeah, those are the core concepts why companies are
Yeah,
partnering
fair
with.
enough. So like if your software is like collapsing the amount of hours that they're able to bill for, is this not kind of paradoxical? Like they are eating their own margin to some extent. They're using
Mm,
Endra.
because of the billable hour.
Yeah, like say they have a task takes 10 hours. I think one of the case study you used took something from like a few weeks to a few hours or something. But like, yeah, that's potentially a ton of revenue lost, which ultimately has margin on top of and or within.
If you think, yeah, I got it. So if you think about it, like if you as an engineering firm charging hourly are able to tell your customer, we will deliver this in 50% of the time at a fixed price, and by the way, we'll also make sure to do 3 different design proposals comparing the actual price to install and maintain a system from, let's say, Siemens, ABB, or Schneider for this specific building that may have millions of dollars of difference on performance and cost for you as an owner or GC or whatever. You'll be able to charge a whole lot more because what that is that that's value to your customer that you currently today are not able to you're not able to supply that to your customer or offer that to your customer because it would mean that you spend three times the amount of time. If you want to do 3 different designs for 3 different systems, you need to sort of triple the amount of hours being spent. So what that means is that customers will be able to offer new products to the market that they cannot offer today, and that's a game changer. And so, no, I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will slash. It'll probably have impact on the very very repetitive work like that you could see probably in residential or similar sectors. But I don't think the customers we're engaging with, which currently are the enterprise market, is not super sort of focused around that. It may have impact on certain sectors, but I don't think it'll it'll um it'll affect negatively. I think it sort of will help companies charge for better outcomes and for they will be able to charge more over time for the reasons I just mentioned.
Okay, nice. Okay, maybe we'll stick to one or two last ones in, Nicholas. So on your own pitch says that firms can scale capability through technology, not headcount. So this means like reducing the number of engineers. Like typically, a MEP firm like grows by increasing the number of people they have like in the organization, right? But obviously, you're saying that they scale through technology as opposed to through headcount. Um, and so that means fewer engineers per project and within these organizations. And so what does it mean for the next generation of the MEP engineers, like graduates? Would you say there's maybe a talent crisis, or are you guys looking to solve that?
Well, you have to keep in mind that the industry is growing, and the industry is around, depending on what you're like, what number you're looking to, but it's around everything from 6 to 10%. So the category is 6 to 10%. While all companies I speak with have a real and firm talent problem, not enough engineers coming into the industry. Also, once inside the organization, they have a 12 to 18-month ramp period, delaying obviously the time to create something meaningful. And I think engineering firms of the future will be much more centered around software. And I think younger talent coming into the industry now would expect to do work in different and in a different and modern way.
Mm,
The engineers are going nowhere. They will just do more with less. And you as young engineer just graduating, instead of routing miles of conduits in a 3D model, you will probably create different proposals to your customers, evaluating different cost scenarios, and helping your firm building institutional IP data that sits at your company. And so the engineers are very, very much needed. They will just do very different work. And this is like you can look at software engineering. If you're a software engineer or a computer science grad going out from Stanford now, it's not that you're not getting any job. It's so many jobs being out there for software engineers, and still you have Cloud Code and you have Cursor and all of these coding agents, but still it's needed. So I don't I am I think we're you will just do different work, but you will very much still be needed. I'm very sure about that.
I also read this one that actually demand for software engineers is increasing.
Yeah,
Despite
exactly.
it.
More
Yeah.
out there now, fueled by these large technology shift that we're seeing, and that also like builds adjacent problems that you need to solve with other software engineers, and um and the same thing will play out here.
Mhm.
I'm very sure.
Very, very last one then, Nicholas. So, we've read a lot about like the services layer being the area which can be monetized most effectively. Yeah. So, does Endra eventually end up becoming a services company rather than the tech company?
No, is the firm answer. We have probably the best team and are the best funded company in the world to create the software to supercharge these organizations. And our customers are best in the world to deliver products to their customers. And we wanna stay that way. Having that said, we wanna be able to help our customers deliver their products better and faster. We want to be part of that sort of deliverable over time. And this is something that we communicate a lot with our customers. And that is our way of being exposed to the sort of broader total addressable market for that MEP services is. So, no, we will not be a software company, or sorry, no, we will not be a services
Yeah,
company, but we will um, fundamentally help MEP and engineering organizations do their work better and faster. And you want to take part of that upside over time.
very cool. Well, Nicholas, thank you so much and congratulations. Looking forward to following Endra's journey from
Thank you.
here.
Have a good one.
Thank you.